There we go, team. Welcome back to the podcast. And today I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. James Pace. How are you, my friend?
Very well, thank you. Looking
Yeah,
forward to doing this.
yeah, it's going to be good. And safe to say we're probably just about recovered from the marathon now.
Yeah, yeah. So just before it, I did have a lot of tightness coming in my left leg, so I've had like some hip flexor pain, which managed to sort out for the marathon, and it's 3 weeks, I think. Yesterday felt like the first training session where it didn't aggravate. I managed to get my first just under 9K run in on Monday. So yeah, I feel like I always do these events and always think this time I'm not going to take weeks to recover. This time, and then I do it, and it still takes weeks to recover.
Yeah, 100%. It's so surprising. I was doing some research the other day, actually. It was saying that from events like marathon sort of distance, it can take you up to 4 weeks to fully, you might feel muscularly recovered, but your central nervous system just isn't going to recover. So your just ability to actually contract muscle, train with intensity, and even just cognitively perform is just so suppressed, which is quite a hard pill for people to swallow, because you come off this massive high of this exciting event you've achieved, and then kind of post marathon.
Even was it? I think it was the weekend after. I was found myself on Sunday. I did a day to myself, just it was a nice day. And I was almost asking me questions about life and who am I and all this sort of stuff, and what do I like to do when I relax? I can't remember. How am I going to chill out today? It was really weird. I felt and you put it in good terms when I spoke to you on Monday. It was you have this feeling of being a bit lost, because it's I've got this time to do stuff with. What do I do? Kind of thing. It was really odd.
Yeah, well, you're just so locked into this primary focus and purpose, and outside of your personal life and professional life, that is just your sole focus. And when you take such a large proportion out of that, and it's been such a primary focus for so long, you're kind of oh, what's the purpose? What do I do this time? I don't know what's going to. But then also you've got the fatigue and the high of the event and everything. But let's bring this back a little bit, because I know some of the guys probably listen to this won't know who you are, your background, and everything. So, who is James, and how did you get into the fitness industry?
So I got into the fitness industry off the back of being a started time in fitness, and my friends were getting into going. We were going from always going out to wanting to go to the gym and learn about the gym and all this sort of stuff. And I remember I had this day where I had it was a full body session I did, and I hammered the rower. I just developed a decent technique on the rower, and this switch was flicked in my head where I felt awesome. I was wow, this is weird. I feel really good. I feel full of energy. I'm not feeling it, because I used to be quite a negative person as well. I was feeling more positive. I'm this is odd. This is cool, but it's odd. It's really weird. And I had a friend that had just done a level 3 qualification for personal trainer, got chatting to them. And it was kind of 12 months process of getting into fitness even more so with this. Talking to my friend and being you can, and I was you can help people feel like this for a job, as a career. That's mental. I want to do that. And it was that was where the idea of becoming a trainer was born. Yeah. Feeling a lot better myself, feeling like a better person, more positive, better mindset. I was wow, I want to give this to people. Mm-hmm. It sounds cheesy as hell when I say it, I think, but that's what it was. It was crazy. That was so I've been a trainer for 14 years, and that was probably that probably started 16 years ago. It's crazy. It makes me feel old.
I love that, and we feel so lucky to have you part of the team now, and part of the coaching team. Just being our head of education, you've got so much experience, and I think that story will resonate with so many people as well. I know it resonates with me with an element as well. I was always in fitness, always trained. Even when I was a coach, I hit a point where going out a bit too much, drinking too much, kind of led to me getting to a point where I looked in the mirror and literally didn't recognize the man that looked back. And it was only then that my coaching or my fitness really kind of went to the next level, because I think I finally actually understood what it was like to be in a position like my clients were. Whereas before, I'd always been the fit guy, always been the healthy guy, always been the sporty guy, until I really understood that, but then went through a transformation, understood what's on the other side. I feel like that what makes us as a coaching team so unique is we've all had our own journeys. We're not the guy who's always walked around with fucking shredded 6-pack abs and haven't gone through any challenges. We've all lived through experience, and I say I would never make anyone do what I haven't done or wouldn't do. Okay. And I think that's also comes back to probably one of the reasons you want to do this marathon. But Be interesting to hear about how your kind of evolution of your fitness journey has gone, because obviously now you're kind of going more down the endurance route, the hybrid training route, but it wasn't always that way, was it?
No, so like even God for first like 4 years or so of my being a gym instructor first when they were a thing, I don't know if they're a thing anymore, and then into a personal trainer. I still had really bad habits like weekend warrior, so still with an element of that party animal was still there, but and just lack of confidence. That's where the challenges came in, because I was a very shy person. I was still really shy for most of my career in the early days. So I think like getting into like, it was men's health urban assault course, like the first one I ever did was a 10k assault course, and just like doing them, I noticed a bit more confidence build, getting into doing classes and like, teaching spin and stuff, and having a room full of people looking at you, like even circuit classes, like 20 odd people where you like got to take charge of it. It's kind of like I've started to realize where if you do things that made you nervous, you gain more confidence. So then it was like feeling good from learning more about training, but then building my confidence, that sort of thing. And my training used to be a bit all over the place, because I was just like, I want to do challenges because they feel good. I don't think I was as self-aware about why it felt good, but I knew it felt good getting a medal and getting a goodie bag and doing this achievement and feeling good for it. And then that kind of obviously like without realizing it, I started to have a sense of purpose with my training. So that was a long haul of that. And then it became functional training came about. Kettlebells came out, sledgehammers with tires came out. I started working in a warehouse gym, so it was all about performance and helping my clients feel good and myself. So without as detailed sort of programming as now, just because early in my career, lack of education and reasons why I was doing it, but people felt good. They felt fitter, they felt stronger. I felt good, they felt fitter, they felt stronger. And then I found kickboxing.
Yeah.
So years before I was a trainer, I did a few lessons while I was traveling in Thailand. It got to a stage, it was like I was working a lot busier, and I was like, I want to do something for me. I want to do something a bit different. So I found a trainer for kickboxing, and that was fun. So that was my cardio, and I was still doing weights. And I'd done a lot of urban like obstacle course races, and then I was like, right, what could I do for a new challenge? And that was a kickboxing fight, which is still online. If people want to see it, I can send you the link.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
really proud of it. It's still on YouTube. I'll send you the link. And that was I definitely had developed this urge to be more confident then. And like standing in front of someone and getting punched, that's even sparring. That was scary for me, because I've never had a fight in my life. I've never been a fighter. I've never been an aggressive person. I was shy, quiet. I've never been on nights out and been in a scuffle. So that was a big challenge in that sense. And I did a kickboxing fight it was like beginner level, so you had shin guards. It was quite nice. No elbows or knees to the head as a rule. That was a rule that they had, which was quite nice. Yeah. And it was just good to experience that like fight or flight thing where I didn't quit. So I was like, right, I'm obviously not a quitter. So this is fuel for the fire for more challenges and things. And then I started work just for lockdowns about a year before, 2 years before, I think it was. I started working at a gym where it was big on transformations and getting people shredding. That was kind of the way they had things. So I did a photo shoot challenge, which I'd never done before, because I was always used to think, going back to like lack of confidence, I was someone that could never get abs. Just didn't think that. But then I had an opportunity to do it, did it. Good experience, good learning process, realised being really, really shredded is not for me. Being lean and fit and strong is for me. So again, that was like, I did go through a spell of wanting to get stacked through lockdown, and lockdown was actually really, really good for me, because I was doing a lot of hours, traveling about still, feeling tired all the time. And then lockdown came, and I was like, if I keep these bad habits that I've got on a Friday night, because it's mainly Fridays that are just eat the world, I'm going to get fat. So like lockdown, I reined in a lot and went deep into this training program, deep into perfect nutrition, and actually came out of lockdown in better shape and mentally better as well, because I had some wobbles like we probably all did, but I did the work on mindset, learned a lot about mindset, learned how to change your mindset and develop it and things. So it was actually really good for me, lockdown, from a personal standpoint. But I did realise aesthetics is not for me. So then came back full circle to wanting to do performance. But I went down learning about it instead of just doing weird workouts like I did in my early first couple of years, first 3-4 years, whatever. So there was like actual performance behind it and developing performance. And then one of my clients decided to do London Marathon. They did amazing, prepared them for it really, really well. And that made me think I haven't done the challenge for a while. I need to do a challenge. So 6 weeks out, I entered Manchester Marathon. And that just, it was the crowd and everything just blew me away. Felt amazing doing it, the process of doing it. Aimed for 2 hours, did 1 hour 52. And then this is where this curiosity thing was born. And now I'm like, I wonder if I can do that. Ooh, that sounds really hard. I wonder if I can do that. Ooh, can I run a marathon? Can I do it under 4 hours? Didn't quite get under 4 hours, but I was like, ooh. And now I'm like, right, I've already entered next year because I want to do one under 4 hours. And now I'm thinking like, so when that's done, can I do an ultra? How far can I push an ultra? So now there's a curiosity behind it because it's like, looking back now, even though I didn't have the thought process behind it, it's really cool to be in my 40s, look back, and I've got a load of challenges that I've done. I've climbed Kilimanjaro as well, by the way. That was one as well. That was a good challenge. I've had a kickboxing fight, and even though I kept getting knocked down, I kept getting back up, so I know I'm not a quitter. Now it's like, what can I actually achieve? And if I can, the cool thing was when I did the half marathon, I hated running, and I had a few people message me after saying they felt inspired, and that's cool. So if I can like push myself and see what I'm capable of because I want to achieve that, but inspire people to do whatever their hard is, first 5K, first photo shoot, first climbing a mountain, whatever it is, then yeah, that's just a really cool thing to pass on.
Yeah,
basically.
I completely agree. And you know what I love so much about this is it's that you've gone from zero to hero, essentially, in terms of you haven't, like a lot of people kind of talk about these things and it's like, yeah, go run a fucking ultra, prove that you can do it, you can do anything. You didn't believe you could do anything when you started. It took with the first step of getting on that rower, perfecting that. Then it moved to the next thing. Then it moved to the next thing. And I think that relates so much to people, and they realize that anybody can do anything if you just set yourself these small targets and improve yourself to. One of my favorite quotes of all time from Alex Hormozy is that you don't become confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror saying, I am confident, I am successful, I am in great shape. You get confident by having a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. And I think that literally lines up with exactly what you've said. I said, like, I struggled with my confidence so much when I was younger. And I think it's one of the biggest part was my physique. But this is why I think a lot of people's body transformation is the catalyst to so much more. Because how many people say, New Year, this is my year, and they don't do it? How many people say, I'm going to lose 5 kilos, and they don't do it? I'm not going to fuck up on my diet on the weekend, and they fuck up. You make these promises to yourself and you don't keep them, so you don't become a person of your word. So even in the future, when you say you're going to do something subconsciously, you go, I'm not going to fucking see that through anyway. I think it's the number one.
So just from this evolution as a person, now if I say I'm doing something, I'm doing it. And actually being on social media more helped that as well. Because anytime I want to do something, I'll say it in my stories.
Public accountability. Yeah, public accountability. And it's funny, you literally messaged me last week, I think it was, and you were like, I'm stopping drinking caffeine. Like the more people I tell, the more likely I am to stick to it. And again, I think the more that you do this, you kind of find what works for you. Okay. And I would do the exact same thing, public accountability, put it out there, hold yourself accountable. The first time I did a marathon, I just booked it. And I was like, I've never even run a half marathon. I was like, I'm just going to book this, and I've given myself enough runway. I've got enough time. I'll figure it out. But I think sometimes you've got to have something what I call forced evolution. It's where, like, if you don't have something that forces you out of your current situation, you'll just stay there because as humans, we like to be comfortable. Okay.
100%.
Once you do that, once you get that positive reinforcement, you build that confidence, and then it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds.
Yeah. I remember the first time I realized, like, do things that make you nervous, gives you more confidence, was on my personal trainer qualification. We had like some group session courses as well, so like their workshop type things. And one was studio cycle, so spin. And I'd just done my level 2 assessment. Realised I felt really good. I was dead nervous before, like you had to say everything right, and I was like, I felt so relieved afterwards. So when it came to this studio cycle, we'd done loads of preparation. We'd got 3 tracks now. I volunteered to go as first. Like I didn't get first because people were ahead of me, so I got in there third. Oh, it was amazing. Because then I was like, I don't feel nervous anymore. Okay. There's something in that. So now it's like, what am I capable of? Go do it. Do I feel nervous about something? Go and do it. Like before lockdown, I would not have done this.
Yeah.
Like, I used to hate voice notes. Now my clients probably get sick of me sending voice notes.
Literally, and it's a very hard thing to see that confidence building when you're going through it. But when you look back and have reflections, like, for example, we've got clients who, when they started, wouldn't even like take a before and after photo, and without even like really thinking about it or noticing it, all of a sudden they're putting selfies on social media. And I'm like,
yeah,
you don't see these things, but it just builds over time. It's really interesting what you said about kind of like fear and like, or nerves and excitement. Do you know, chemically, fear and excitement are exactly the same thing?
I knew it was. See, I always say this is like, I'm joking about it, like nerves is another form of excitement, but that's cool to know it's chemically the same thing as well then.
Chemically, exactly the same thing. So let's say you had someone who loves roller coasters and someone who absolutely fucking hates them and petrified them. If you took a blood sample when they're on the roller coaster, it's exactly the same. So I say always on the other side of fear is excitement. It's just it's literally your relationship to that emotion that is different. Okay. So the more confidence you build, the more times you put yourself in fear or nervous, your relationship to it you go, oh, this is a chance for me to grow, a chance for me to get out of my comfort zone, rather than going, I can't do that.
It explains a lot.
It does.
So explains a lot.
The marathon.
Yeah, that was hard. Just the whole process though, because like the program that was set up was like, it was discussed about going all in. I've never done like an intense 6-day program. I always like to have like 2 rest days, like movement days, but 2 rest days. And obviously joined the team at the same time. So at the same time as I started this program for the marathon, workload went up as well. So it was like, yeah. So obviously I like challenging myself, but couldn't have timed it better. So it was like client setups to do, a lot busier in the days. I still do face to face. So some training sessions were like going out running at 7:30 at night, and it still was in the dark at evenings and stuff, and just getting it done. And the intensity. This is why having like a Garmin as well, by the way, to track things, and a heart rate monitor was great, because I remember it was 2nd or 3rd week before peak week. I was a grumpy sod, to put it lightly. I hated it. I was showing up for my clients. Even no matter what's going on in my life, no matter how tired I am, bad mood I am, because I have bad mood weeks and stuff, I'll show up for my clients. That's what becomes important, more important to me. I need to be perfect for them. Myself, I was beating myself up. I was telling myself I hated it. I was telling myself I didn't want to do it. Moody, complaining, but I will still go and do it because I'll show up no matter what. And some of my stats, like intervals and stuff, they were actually faster. And even that annoyed me. I was like, I feel like rubbish. How can I be quicker? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But just stuck to the process, kept getting things done, making sure I was eating enough. I figured out what works for me on the long runs. Massive breakfast, making sure I was getting enough calories in, because I was running further than I ever had done. But it was always like zone 2. So again, having that heart rate strap so my watch was accurate, so I could keep an eye on my pace while I was doing it, was perfect. And yeah, it was a shame, like I had some tightness came in my leg on peak week, that last long run, because I couldn't really do my taper. I had to just like stop and just try and train around it and not really do much running. But the work had been done. Was definitely ready for it. I don't know if it was just nerves or what, but I had some tightness feeling in my leg that morning, so I did extra warming up and things, and had my plan of like my carb gels, and the plan was sensibly, because I've used a Garmin, I know what paces I can run at certain intensities, percentage max out speed kind of thing. So it was like, go for it and then hang on, which started well. even the 4-hour paces were in the wave before me. Caught them, passed them. It was going great. First half marathon, awesome. Got past the first half. I was like, this is getting hard now. There's a long way to go.
It's the 25 to 35 is like where it's you either win the race or you lose the race.
Yeah. So 30k, that's when it bit hard. and it got painful. People talk about this wall, which I think is absolute rubbish, because when it starts hurting, it keeps hurting. You don't break through a wall and then you suddenly feel better. You just got to double down, dig in, and it got very, very painful. And then all of it, I was like, I think it was like 32k. I suddenly felt this big presence behind me. I was like, I feel like there's a lot of people behind me. It was the 4-hour pacers. I was like, damn. Oh no. I was like, I tried to stick with him. I was like, right, here you go, stay with him, then you'll make it. Oh, it was just too quick. I just, my legs were just like, and then it was just painful. And there was never the thing of like not finishing it because I could deal with pain. It was just hard to keep going. Definitely didn't take on enough water. The little bottles they give you are great, but you drink some, choke on some, spill some down, you get halfway through, get fed of it, and chuck it, which probably wasn't the best idea. So the last 2 water stations, I think it was, or just a couple of the last ones, I actually walked for 30 seconds, got it down, because I'm okay down in it. I knew my stomach was okay with it. So just necked it, and then that seemed to help getting some water on. But it was just painful. But it is mad how like mindset is a big thing, because I went round. I know the course. The cool thing is the half marathon. The last part of the course is the same as the marathon, which was quite handy. So I knew where I was near the end. And you come up this long straight, and you do a sharp left turn, and you probably got less than a kilometre to finish. Just like, right, you're nearly there. Stay calm. Don't try and push. Just try and pick it up a little bit, just a little bit. And then I got like probably about, I don't know, 500 meters-ish away from the end, and something clicked in my brain. I was like, I've had enough now. And I bolted. So I don't know where that speed came from, but it wasn't like I want to sprint and finish. It was like, I've had enough. So that obviously showed me next year there's more in the tank. And I'll be running for longer. So I can definitely do under 4 hours. But I think taking on more water early on, even if you've got a walk to take it on, is probably a better thing than trying to keep the same pace and just trying to spill it down you and drink. And because I felt very, very dry the last 6 miles.
Yeah, 100%. I think I did the exact same thing. I started to cramp at the end of mine. I just didn't have enough electrolytes or water, particularly for the exact same reason. So it's one of the questions I was going to ask you. If you were to do things again on race day, what would you do differently? And it's probably a bit more fueling and a bit more hydration at the time at some of those water stations if you need to, because it might cost you 15, 20, 30 seconds a couple of times, but it's going to save you minutes on that kind of finish time. In the training, what's something you might do differently?
Have regular sports massages booked in, 100%. I was obviously doing the stretching and things like that and mobility and stuff, but definitely like, so when my leg was really, really tight, I went to the usual physio that I go to, that studio, because I have a few physios there. And I actually booked in, I just booked in with the first one rather than who I normally go see. And he was the guy that owns it. And he did say he's the mean one. I thought he was joking. It hurt a lot. I was sweating. It felt like a workout, but it was the most painful massage I've ever had, but it was also the best. Because my leg felt a lot better afterwards. So actually because I'll book in my days when I'm going to train, but I will actually next time book it. I'll buy a block of sessions and book them in. So like say every 4 weeks I'm having an hour sports massage instead of having a 90-minute one when I feel like I need it. Prevention rather than the cure, right?
Proactive rather than reactive. I've said this, I was like, sports massage is not cheap. Okay? No way around it. But if there is one thing that I have done that has made me feel better, stop niggles turning into injuries. Also, I think for me, it's just fantastic for my headspace as I just lie there, have a massage, switch off, chat shit. Especially if you can find a masseuse that one's good and two you get along with well as well. I have had one every week, every other week for literally, as long as I can remember, probably the last 4 or 5 years. And I notice a difference now. Let's say if I travel for a couple of weeks and I don't have it, I'm like, oh, that's tight there. Or if I'm doing my sessions and I just don't feel like I'm getting quite the quality out of those sessions. But I started it through the back end of when I was playing rugby, because I was just picking up so many niggles, and then I got tighter, and those niggles turned into compensations, and those compensations turned into injuries. Even if you were to go like, right, I'm going to go see a great masseuse, I'm going to do every week for the next 6, 8, 12 weeks that I need it for, get yourself into a good position, and then go every other week, every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks, just as a maintenance. Like honestly the best thing I think you could do. Because like I said, everyone goes, I'm good. Oh, fuck, that hurts. Fix me. But you're not going to get fixed in just one massage. It's easier to do the work and maintain it, just like a fitness journey, than it is the other way. Okay, so so with you on that one. So with you.
Yeah.
And there's also only so much that foam rolling can do.
Yeah. The comments back to size. They know exactly what pressure, because like they pay attention to what you can handle. I mean, I did mention to him that I'll probably just crack on and deal with it, which probably wasn't the best thing to say to someone that's really hard, but you know, if it works. Yeah, because I have clients who go and they're like a bit nervous about going to a physio. Like, just tell them you've not had a sports massage, but you need to go, because I'll have the conversation loads of times, and I try to get to people to at least go like every 8 weeks to start out with, because you need it. You get into being active so much, you can stretch and things yourself, but physios, they can feel what's tight. They know what pressure to put in. They know what techniques to use to get rid of it. You know, there's certain areas of your body that just foam rolling just doesn't really hit as well.
100%.
It's just an investment, isn't it?
At the end of the day, it's also like you take your car for an MOT or you take your car for a service. There's no difference. Okay,
Yeah.
like if you're going to drive your car all the time, you've got to look after it. If you're going to use your body all the time, you've got to look after it. The good thing is you can buy another car, but you can't buy another body yet.
I love that.
Okay, so
I'm going to use that one.
service. I've never even said that before, but it works really well as an analogy. The biggest thing that I think I had a realization was actually understanding training at heart rate in different intensities. I mean, when I first started running it was like I'd run a 5K, maybe a 10K, but I'd just be like, right, let's fucking go. Let's try and hit a PB. And I would just bury myself every time. And I think so many people don't like running, can't run because they just run too fast. They run too hard. That's my opinion. So like heart rate training for me was an absolute game changer, but it also gives you so many metrics. And it comes back to what you said about the data that you can see progression. This is why I love hybrid training, is because you go in the gym, you either lift heavier or you do a couple of extra reps. Okay. And you have to do that for so long to see any kind of muscular change. Whereas with running or endurance or speed work, whatever it might be, you can run further, you can run faster, you can run the same pace with a lower heart rate and a lower effort. You can do more mileage in a week. There's so many different ways that you can progress, that you can taste, and so many different distances that you can do. That's why I personally love it. But what's next for James?
So Manchester 10K, which is just a nice steady one. I've got a couple of clients that are doing it to go fast. I've got a couple that are doing their first ever, so I'm sticking with them. It's just to enjoy. Partly because I want the medal as well.
Oh yeah, of course. You're going to have them hanging on the back wall behind you, aren't you?
Yes, I am going to be one. I've got quite a few from in the past. I've got a few from recent ones now. I am going to get a wall medal holder. I am. And then I've actually never done just a run 10K event. So there's one in Northwich, near where I'm from. That's in June, and that is going to be a send it. There is a nasty, nasty hill in the first half where it suddenly you turn it right and it goes up to like 23% or something incline.
It's like a pool.
Yeah, when you drive it, it's like change down a gear to get up it kind of thing. So that might make it tough to get a certain time, but I'm still going to try and still going to push it. Then Manchester half marathon in October is third time doing it. I'm going to say that's the last time I'm going to do it. We'll see. Because last year was aiming for 1 hour 45. I did 1 hour 42, so I want to get obviously below that, because there was like a loose goal like near the end of the prep where we said maybe under 140, but that was the first experience of like pushing an event and it being difficult all the way around, so that was a good experience as well. Then Manchester Marathon, and then it'll be ultras after that. Yeah. I am going to do a 100-mile ultra one day. Don't know when, but that's on the cards.
Let's find it. We'll do it together.
Cool.
I'm putting it out there. I'll do it.
Awesome.
I'm down.
I'd like to do a 50 first, maybe just tick off 50 as well. Yeah. But I want to, because like, this doesn't come from an arrogant place, but the marathon, I was never not going to finish it. And for me, I want something I want to be tested. I did first weekend of January, I did David Goggins' thing as well. That was one that was just by myself. So you run 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours, just to see if I could. And I could. And it was never not going to finish it. It was a bit horrible because it was cold. I was tired, sleep deprivation, but I could do it. So it's like we're so much more capable of doing more than what we think. Whether it's staying in a calorie deficit first time ever, whether it's being in an office job and actually tracking your steps and doing double the amount of steps each day, whatever it is, whether it's just getting fitter so you don't get knackered playing with your kids, we can achieve so much more. So for me, my hard is pushing my limits. And I want to see what I'm capable of. So that's why it will be an ultra. It will be a 100-mile ultra. Like, the marathon was always going to get finished. My hamstring could have gone in the last 6 miles and I would have walked it. Yeah. There's no way I wasn't going to finish it. So yeah, I want to see what the limits are. This year it's just still about like, I've never done a 10K and tried to go fast, so I'd like to just tick that off at least once. Manchester Marathon half has been like somewhat ongoing, so I want to try and see how quick I can go, because I don't want to have a runner's physique, so it's like I still have a muscle, but trying to go fast is quite a good thing. And then it'll be like, right, what's the limit? What's going to break me?
Or just what's the next glass ceiling that we can break? Because we all put those limits on ourselves. Yeah. What we can break through. It's funny you say that about you just knew were never not going to finish. I was the exact same thing with the Ironman at times. Like, remember, we've been going uphill for half an hour, went through this tunnel, I looked up, you've got these French mountains, the roads that just twist and wind all the way down. I looked up and I was like, surely not. And then I saw what looked like ants coming down it. And I realized that was bikes. This hill, I was in the lowest gear on my bike that we could, and 90 minutes of just lowest gear, plug away, plug away, plug away. And at one point, the thought crept into my head, like, this is ridiculous. And then I just kind of said, like, I don't know why you're even having this conversation, because there's no way you're going to stop. Like, so you just put it out of your head, but people are going to, I can't do that. I'm not motivated. Like, I'm not that person. I'm not dedicated. But this comes from you getting on the rower for the first time. And then doing the next thing, and doing the next thing, and doing the next thing, and doing the next thing. So what's one piece of advice you would give to your younger self? Or someone who's just looking at starting their fitness journey?
Start small and build. So you're capable of doing more than that. Because I went on this journey of like actually wanting to push myself and develop, but I didn't realise it at the time. Do you know what I mean? So I was obviously getting something from it and feeling like I was having development, but looking back, I didn't realise for like, God, I don't know, probably even to lockdown, I didn't realise how much it was benefiting me. I was just like, oh, that's cool. I feel good after doing that, so I'll do that. Well, that's cool, I feel good after doing that, but actually it was building my confidence, it was changing me as a person, changing me as a better coach. Like, put me on this path of like wanting a different type of dopamine hit. Because when I was partying all the time, it was escapism, it was dopamine hit at the weekends. Then it's like, actually, you're getting a better dopamine hit when you achieve a challenge and develop yourself as a person. It's just finding what is that starting point.
Absolutely. I think that's so powerful.
Just start small, find what your heart is, realise you're capable of doing more than what you think. Try and work on developing, not listening to that internal negative voice, because we all have it. It's all there. Mm-hmm. Every set, every walk, every day it's there. You just got to figure out how to not listen to it and quiet it and work through it.
As David Goggins was said, silently in a bit.
Yeah, I like that.
I think that's so interesting. So many people join our program, they say, I want confidence. I'm like, what's confidence to you? Like, one of the biggest things for me, and confidence to me, has been able to do what I want, when I want, with who I want, and not have that little nagging voice in the back of your head. But it's not having it, because you're always going to have it. It's been able to turn it down enough that I can still take action and do what I want to do. Okay, because it's always going to be there. But again, it comes back to the relationship you have to it. And now if I get nervous, I get a little bit scared. I'm like, oh, this is the right thing to do. That comes from, like you said, setting yourself up for success. And I'm guilty of it. I set these massive, scary, audacious goals. I'm like, fuck yeah. And then you can get demotivated because you don't feel like you're progressing to that. But if you actually look back at how far you've come, it's about these, set a small goal, achieve it. Set a small goal, achieve it. Set a small goal, achieve it. And that could be as simple as just plan your week. It could be as simple as go to the shop and make sure you've got all the food that you need. Like, that's where you need to start and just build this up over time. And all of a sudden you'll look back and you'll have no idea about how far you've come. But dude, I really appreciate this. I know there's going to be so much value, and I think a lot of inspiration that people can take from this. So guys, if anyone has any questions for me or James, leave them in the comments below. And if you want me and James to do more podcasts, more chats like this, let us know as well. And peace out.
Awesome. Bye, guys.